That's what we always say. We say woo right as we start. And also, hey, welcome everybody to another wonderful episode of Cardboard Conversation. So thank you everybody for joining. We already got one of our awesome channel members, Time Capsule, in here. Early Bird, love that. Great to see you, dude. And Bob, Matt, as always, great to see you more than ever. See what I did there?
I do see what you did there. And you know what people should see out there? That our channel is full of financial advice. That's right. The whole show is nothing but financial advice. So follow it.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
It's not that. Yeah.
None of
this
us
episode
are
brought to you by Dave Ramsey. Yeah.
I mean, I know that's, sort of, so there's sort of a mixed bag out there, at least for me, looking at the financial markets. Even Rudy was talking about it. Some of it I agree with him, some of it I don't, for his take on it. I posted in our chat maybe I just posted that to you, Pat. I don't know if I posted that to Matt. And perhaps we open the show with that, because I mean, I think that's the biggest news in reality in people's lives beyond the SpongeBob secret lair. The tariffs, right? And the financial wreckage that's causing right now. Now, in my opinion, that's just going to be a phase of this. There has to be something to trigger what's called market correction, and people just betting on things going up and up and up and up and up forever, including crypto, including the stock market, including collector boxes. That's just not real, right? And something triggers the nervous Nellies to sell. And in my opinion, this is going to be another one of those market cycles. So you're going to have a mixed bag of what to expect here. I expect we're going to start seeing people sell things off. I think things that were not readily available will be available. Maybe not yet. We're only in 10% correction territory at the moment. I do predict personally that it's going to go down farther. I bet we hit at least 20%. The nice thing is what threw us into this cycle was just absolutely. I can't understand the tariffs at all, but the nice thing is all we have to do is he just has to say, all right, no more tariffs, right? That will stop the thing that started this downward spiral. However, there's a market correction that needed to happen. I mean, just look at the prices of homes. If you watch any TikToks or anything, rent's out of control, food's out of control, eggs are $7 a dozen.
Dude, man. So the other day I went to the store, right? It was $5.99 for a dozen of eggs, and you were allowed to get 1 dozen of eggs. It was like
I bought a box of 60 eggs. It was $27. It used to be $12.
I got duck eggs, and they were $1 a piece. And it's like at that point, I'm just going to continue to buy duck eggs because it's worth it for the price. Things are going wild. Yeah.
The point being that
eggs at $7. Yeah.
There is a correction that needs to take place. Houses with the average of 400,000, but the average family, that means the entire home, the average salary is like 80,000. That math doesn't math, right? So the average person can't afford an average home.
I think I was shocked at first. My original thought when we started seeing some of the MSRP, and I think it's great that they brought that back, because now they're able to look us, air quote, directly in the face. And we see now that everything's going to be extremely expensive.
Yes.
And it is more so true than ever.
What I found interesting so far is that all the prices have dropped on a lot of things, like stocks mainly. But sealed products still hasn't changed. I'm looking at I have a couple things bookmarked. They're all fine.
There are collector boxes that are dropping.
Yeah,
but Fallout's over 900. You got the 30th anniversary.
You can't cherry pick the top 1%. You've got to look at the entire group. As a whole.
I'm looking at all the ones I've bookmarked, and all of them are up. So
okay, look at Innistrad.
Yeah, look at Aether. Those are things that nobody wants.
Okay, you can justify it however you want. They're still in the grouping, whether you want to include them or not.
Hey, Ed, I live in a pineapple under the sea, okay?
But I didn't think Foundations would be the one that would skyrocketed like it is right
now.
The
point being, there's a correction that needs to be incoming. I'll get to Magic here in a minute, but that's where we're going to go with this. I think that you will see a sell-off. I think you will see some panic when we start seeing the stock market hit 20% correction, when we see Bitcoin down around 60,000 again. I think that's when you're going to start seeing a bunch of panicking at that point and people dumping. And it was kind of interesting. I was listening to Rudy because he's talking about these collector boxes hitting the market because stores are trying to generate. I think the stores are running lean. From all the stores I've talked to,
yeah,
they cut back their purchasing 2 years ago. Right.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
I
city
think
of
I
Wiggins
can
there.
certainly mirror that with my big box stores in my local area for the last two to I'd say 4 months. All of their trading card aisles, except for baseball, football, for some reason, that's still stocked. But realistically, most of the TCGs have been pretty dry lately in the big boxes.
Even the LGS has cut back, right? They've cut back as far as everything I've heard from what I've seen other content creators that contact LGSs from the 3 or 4 that I talked to. They cut back a while ago, like well over a year ago. So the point being is I think if you're seeing product hit the market, it's not a traditional LGS to at least say the least. I think it's people who over the last 5 years have started establishing like personal warehouses, if you want to call them that. The people like the gentleman that was on our show, what's his name? Mark something or other from
Solar God, not Solar
Game. You know,
God,
that started developing their own online retailers after the market started taking off about 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe not brick and mortar, but
I mean, by and by, that's what
I don't think it's LGS
Lance does. I mean, Lance, that's just a entertainment leg of a brick and mortar store, Moonshot. Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Me neither. Anyways.
I see do not revender YouTube, but hi. Sure. I agree.
Bye-bye.
Yes. I bleh. Sure. But I think that people like the personal holders, the ones that have been leveraging themselves, trying to take advantage of the flipping market, are the ones that you're going to see dumping first. The ones that have this shit leveraged on credit cards, right? This economic downturn, for all intents and purposes, for like collectors.
We're going to see
people like Matt who want to collect bits and pieces here and there. He doesn't just, he doesn't have his entire basement or garage filled with boxes hoping that he can leverage his credit cards or his HELOC on his home or a signature loan against his car with cases, because, oh my God, I got, 25 master cases of whatever.
Although, Matt, realistically, if you can get those collector boxes of Final Fantasy, you should just, leverage all. I mean,
I'm putting at least $3,000 on it, and I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
if you can get mine, but I mean that's a little different for me, and you as well. What I'm saying is, I think that in the coming, my best guess will be 2 years. I think that we're going to see a correction even in Magic. Remember, Magic lags behind the stock market and crypto by around 3 to 6 months.
Oh, speaking of crypto, Elon Musk is fucking my Doge account right now. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, I've lost like 40%. It was so bad.
Yeah. This just goes back to, some conversations that I've had with other folks and Bob as well, is depending on your investment style, you can just always be buying. And right now, as far as like the stock side of it, I'm just kind of happy to see stuff on sale. I don't look at my accounts as far as like holding value because that just hurts right now. But
no, you buy on the way down. That's the time to buy.
Yeah. I don't look at the holdings. I just look at like, okay, this is what current prices are. I know this is cheaper than ever. I'm buying.
Well, and here's the thing, like you don't realize losses until you sell.
Until you sell, and fucking
you don't sell when you see it going off a cliff. That's not the time to cash out.
All the red. Oh,
yeah, I see a lot of red.
I'm down 60% on my Doge.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about it. Like if I was to look at my balance, which I do unhealthily, in the last 2 weeks, I'm at basically 6-figure losses.
My stocks have been fine. That's what I'm confused about. My stocks have been like almost untouched, literally. Like I don't understand.
Are you picking individual stocks?
No, I'm just letting Fidelity do its thing.
Well, then you're doing well, because I'm in index funds, and the index funds shadow the S&P, and the S&P has taken a nosedive.
Like, I've definitely lost money, but year to date, I'm down.
But you haven't lost money. Did you sell anything?
No.
Then you haven't lost any money.
Value, yeah.
You've lost value in your portfolio.
Yeah, I
but I think we're going to see a major housing correction. I think that's where it's going to truly start when we see it. We're already seeing it if you follow any of the guy financials online. But Magic's not unaffected by that. And Pokemon and any other collectible, by the way, they tend to lag behind. I would say that if you're leveraged right now on credit, it might be the time to get out and try to stem the bleeding if that's where you're at. Because I think it's going to be ugly for the flippers, the people who have purchased in the last year, to try to liquidate their stock at this point, their inventory. I think they're going to have a very rough time over the next year.
There's definitely some people that are going to be selling at a loss just to be able to get out of the products so that they can either cut all lines or trying to reinvest into the next big thing and take losses down the road.
It still makes me, just face palm and like smash my face into the keyboard. Why do you Timmies leverage yourself and get in these minds? And I know we're going to start hearing it. I haven't heard it yet, but I guarantee you those videos are incoming from places where we're hearing about stories, maybe by Rudy or maybe through Jam or some other place that we hear, that people are just hosed because, they thought that the market would go up and up and up forever, even in Magic. It doesn't matter what it is. Remember, Magic goes through, bull and bear cycles just like anything else. And with that prediction, I don't know if Dual Brain's still here with us, but you ought to like, my suspicion is that when that happens, it'll be the older and reserve list cards, probably also, like the PSAs, maybe the serialized cards that tend to hang on to their value for a bit longer. But I think that individual hot cards are going to drop. I think that sealed is going to take a hit. But older stuff, I believe, is probably going to fare the storm a little bit better than modern cards.
Yeah, I have thought about cashing out right now because like I'm so, at least on the stuff that is like super high, like the Fallout box is over $900 a piece. Why is my camera not working? The Lord of the Rings special collectors at $1,700. Like that kind of gain, even if it goes up, I can't complain. Like you spend $250, $300 on a box, and it goes up to over $1,000. Like the rate of return is so high. It's kind of greedy to hold on to it and keep hoping it goes higher and higher.
Is that why you're holding on to it?
No, I'm holding on to it because I don't really have another purpose for the money, to be honest.
Okay. I mean, so that's, that's a really interesting to me topic in the, especially Magic and Pokemon world to like dig into. The reasons why we buy, the reasons why we hold on to, the reasons why we sell, right? I think that's a fascinating topic because it's so, I don't even want to say individualized, but it's certainly classes of reasons that people hold on to things. So whether you realize it or not, Matt, what you've done is you're probably comfortable with, we'll just go, are you familiar with financial order of operations? Just the concept? Like you're supposed to make sure that you have enough money to cover all your bills. That's like the very basic thing. And that means roof, shelter, food, clothing, gas, car, that kind of stuff. Then you have the, and after all that's done and covered, well, you're supposed to pay off any debt that you have, but you're not supposed to have debt in the first place. But then you save up enough for your rainy day fund, right? So the financial order of operations, cover your basics, get your 6 to 9 to, I have, 24 months of expenses in cash. That's your emergency fund. Then you have your savings, whether it's for retirement or whatever else you're saving for, and this is not your rainy day money. But you're probably got those three at a minimum already covered, and probably for the most part debt free. So now you've ventured into a territory where, just throwing more and more and more at the stock market. Well, you can do that, but you're doing what's called diversification. And you naturally get to that point, right? You too, time capsule. Well, not a great stream, but have a great
stream as well while you're eating.
Yeah, stream your dinner, would you? We'd like to watch. We'll have a little side stream of your dinner. But you're diversifying whether you've recognized or not. And I bet a lot of people in the Magic community have done just that. They inadvertently now have something that's inherently worth value, right? And it's a diversification that is not directly tied to the monetary system. It's not directly tied to the stock market. And that's what you have sitting behind you. There is no direct correlation between what's going on in the world and tariffs and the product sitting behind you that has financial value. And it's not insignificant. If I had to just take a quick guesstimate of what I can see behind you, I'm going to toss a ballpark figure of about 20 grand.
It's at least 15.
I said,
I was at one point putting it into one of the MTG tracker websites just out of curiosity, and I got to over 12, and I hadn't even got to the bottom two shelves, which has like the sealed cases of stuff.
Hey, TCG dude. So I would say, if you go to liquidate, you could really expect at least 50% of that, right? So we'll say between $7,500 and $10,000 sitting on the wall behind you.
Yeah, this is $2,400 of TCG low after
fees
for card conduit. So like in sealed and in singles, I definitely have right around $20,000 in cards, and I don't know how much I spent to get that. Probably more. Let's be honest. Well, maybe not. I don't know. The collector boxes they're popping off, so I can't really know. I don't know. Anyways,
I mean, in any case, it is a financial asset. Right.
Yeah.
That has a liquid component to it, meaning that you can liquidate what's behind you for cash if you need to. And it's not insignificant.
I've become the thing I swore to hate.
Okay.
It's very
and I would bet in your case that it'll probably cover anywhere between 2 to 3 months worth of expenses if you had to liquidate what's behind you.
What? My monthly expenses are not that much. If I'd have like a year, like my monthly expenses are like $1,000 to $2,000.
Okay, but if it was $2,000, and I say you get about half of the value after you sell and taxes and fees and whatnot, what's behind you, then yeah, you have at least 3 months worth of assets sitting behind you that you could liquidate if you need to. So whether you realize it or not, you have diversified your portfolio with maybe not even being conscious of it. And that is the thing. And that's, I don't know exactly where my collection lies. I don't ever sell anything. I don't have a plan to sell it. I have no exit plan, but I'm cognizant that it's worth whatever amount. And if I had to toss a rough number without calculating, between 50 and 100,000 is where I would sit. And, I know that it's there. But what do? Take that same money that, I don't know, maybe I paid $200,000 for all of it. Put that into the stock market, but then I don't have my Magic, which is a hobby on top of it. I would hate that. It would be very boring just to sit here and look at the numbers in the stock market and not have my Magic cards.
I gotta say, I'm pretty much like a complete flip side of that. I think I have less than $1,000 in Magic. Maybe under $2,000 if you include like every single deck and all the fucking sleeves I bought when I was out visiting you guys. But one of the things for me is I love just watching the numbers go up. I'm a huge fan of those like idle clicker games. It's like, man, knowing that that's my money. I'm super
and not every, into that. I love that the three of us have three basically very different,
like Goldilocks. Like we always have three different like beds and three different bowls of porridge of like opinions.
Yeah, I 100% plan to sell everything behind me. Well, that's not 100% true. There are a couple things like this like this paint. I mean, if somebody wants to pay for it, I guess I made it. But anyway, all the Magic product, I'm almost certainly selling all of it. The D&D books, definitely not. the D&D game thing, but you know what I'm saying. The sealed product that I plan to purchase is in the intention definitely to diversify my portfolio, buy a sealed product, and get into the sealed product game. Even though I don't really believe in it, like I think that all sealed products should just be opened, and you should be able to enjoy the product. But the fact that like you just see the track record of holding sealed product is just kind of like you can't ignore it. I mean,
You
I
don't
guess you
like
could
it,
if you
but you
want.
see that it works.
But yeah, I mean, like the track record is that it works. Now, granted, 6 months from now, if I don't sell, it could be down 50%. I could be like, it's so bad. But like, that's just literally.
But then, 18 months from now, it could be back up again. Like that's just part of the game, right?
Yep. Of anything.
And this is where we talk about,
investment.
Rudy did mention in his last video talking about Pokemon and all that basically the patient people make money off of impatient people.
Yep. Yeah, like when I see my Doge down 60%, some people would freak out. Actually, I think my grandparents, they freaked out back in the 2007, 2008 crash.
Yeah.
They pulled out of their investments when they lost like 40%, which if they hadn't done that, they would have had significantly more money.
A huge
and that's true of every down cycle, right? Like literally that's 100% track record.
Yeah.
And people
know
panic.
When to hold them and no one to fold them.
And Rudy talked about it. The pain of loss is significantly stronger than the joys of gains.
Yeah.
That the gains don't ever feel near as good as the losses feel bad.
Sure.
So there's an emotional component. And I highly encourage everybody watching, to really take stock in Magic, if that's what you're tuned in for, because we haven't covered video games in a very long time. But certainly I think that this is an interesting time to me to watch the correlation of all the different markets and all the different aspects of it, and all these people that say, oh, just game pieces and the product shouldn't have value. Well, buckle up, Buttercup, because I think you're about to see a lot of that.
Yeah, I definitely feel as though we're in both for a regular economic downturn and in hobby specific, pretty rough time here for Magic the Gathering players with the declared increase in price. And now because it's like a time of financial strife for folks, I think we're going to see a lot of singles and sealed product come on the market cheaper. And
I bet you the reason why Final Fantasy is so much higher, or one of the reasons why, is because of the tariffs. They probably saw it coming, and they're like, "Well, we need to raise the MSRP."
Well, and I think I predicted that this is going to be the year of price increases. Remember, in our first show of the year, I was talking about prices are going up this year. Like that's just, I think that's where we're going to see kind of a decided change. And to me, it was when I posted to you guys, wow, now the MSRP for collector boxes for even a very standard set is $300. Like that's just it moving forward, period. End of story. Now, Matt is correct that you can buy them cheaper in other sources below MSRP, and that's the nature of collectibles, but
significantly below MSRP, which is crazy to me.
But again, that's the MSRP, people. That is what Magic is shooting to get for their product on the shelves.
Yeah,
that's what they want to see. That's a significant increase from just a year and a half ago, where the standard sets with collector boxes came out at about 200.
Yeah, they definitely have
even on Amazon.
And let's
so that's a drastic change.
They've really come into their own now in their adolescence here. It's not a new thing on the market, and in general, everything is going up in price. So
sure,
it's definitely not surprising to see the most top tier stuff become.
So this is one of the distributor websites that I have access to. It's not they're like kind of a distributor or whatever you want to call it, but yeah, $99. This is shipped with no taxes, by the way. This is all included for the Dragonstorm Tarkir boxes. So this is still now available at the moment for $99.
But I mean, that's distributor pricing. Distributor pricing's always been significantly lower than
Well, this isn't what
retail
the stores are paying. This is just what I'm able to pay. Like this isn't like a special deal for stores. Like stores are paying less than that. Stores are probably paying $70 a box.
Okay, but I can't sign up through that distributor to get that deal.
The only way you can sign up for for this specific website, this is MVP Sports. You have to buy something from them somewhere, whether it's eBay or something like that, and then email them to get the invite, basically. But yeah, right now, Aether Drift $105. Outlaws of Thunder Junction, which I think is interesting, is 130, which is some of their prices ain't great, but a lot of them are. The collector boxes are gone, but I bought collector boxes for like 189, I think. Which
for Dragonstorm?
For Dragonstorm.
I'm telling you that's kind of the pricing that I'm hearing from the LGSs that I talk to. That's their price.
Interesting. I mean, maybe they're just doing it for giving their people's 188 for
but the point is that's not MSRP, period. And Magic has come out and said we're putting MSRP back on it, and their MSRP is on their website, and that is $300 a box for collector.
I was say, wasn't it like $290 or $280 for the box? That's why I bought these.
No, they're $290 whatever dollars. They're $39.99 a pack, $39.95 a pack. If you can go on to Magic site and look at the MSRP.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so yeah. Now, just that's what we're going to expect, and that's what they're going to push. So what you'll see is
if it's $40 a pack, that's $480 for a collector box.
Well, then it was $29.95.
Dragonstorm.
No, it was 30 something.
Playbook. So collector box were $25 a pack.
So 300. Yeah.
So yeah, $300 on the button. Minus 12 cents.
Okay. Yeah, my point being, that's what they're pushing. Period.
Yeah.
That's what they expect to get.
If you go to Amazon, it's the only place you could really pre-order it right now. It's not even on TCG Player. I think they were something like over 300 already. Yeah, 270. Well, they're 270. They're actually below MSRP, which is interesting. Most of the time
on Amazon.
Yeah, they're 270 right now.
Well, they also have that pricing algorithm, so I'm kind of curious how that plays out with Magic.
Yeah, 10% off. It's supposed to be $299.88. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have like automatic pricing algorithms.
Is this the first time they've ever had the pre-release things up like right now?
What?
The pre-release packs, the kits. I've never seen them pre-order pre-release kits.
Who? Amazon?
Amazon.
Oh yeah, they do. They just go like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Huh.
Because they're usually cheaper than what your LGS is going to charge.
Nah, $45. My LGS charges $30, or maybe even cheaper than that. But then again, he's a unique guy. He's a good guy. He's not selling at a loss, but he ain't making a ton of money. I'll tell you that. He's just getting people in the door at that point.
But I mean, it's very interesting to see all the pricing that's going on there, and I think that we're going to see increase in pricing, the general pricing. I don't know by what percentage on Secret Lairs go up this year. I think that's going to be a move this year.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, especially if we start seeing tie-ins like we have been, we'll eventually get SpongeBob. Don't worry, guys. Keep holding on. It's worth it. And they just tacked on the $10 extra fee, which is a 30% increase. And I think that we'll continue to see that move going forward, is that they'll probably stay at that $40 mark, and then specialties will become $50.
Yep. It's the slinky game, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's standard reaction to inflation as everything slowly goes up. And even if the market, air quote, corrects itself, the prices aren't going to go down.
No. Not until they have to. But by that point, that's like trying to plug holes in your ship and you're already in trouble. But I don't know when that's going to happen. But what I do see is that the paper hands out there that are doing the whole, going into Hawk to get Magic cards or Pokemon, they're going to be the ones to fold first.
I'll tell you what, I was looking at my credit score, whatever you want to call it, and it was like you're using 1%, less than 1% of your credit, and I'm like, that's what it needs to be, because otherwise you're just paying money for no reason. Yeah. And I have a significant amount of credit. Like I don't know if it's like a ton, but to me it's a lot of money. $47,000 in credit card maximum limit or whatever, and I'm using less than 1% of it, that's where you want to be. You really only want to use it to gain money if you can. Like I use it for I get 2% cash back on my
Yeah, there
city
you go.
my city credit card on everything. And I keep getting
I'll be
offers
honest.
from like Huntington Bank, like you can get 1.5%. I'm like, why would I ever switch to you? Ever? There's no reason for it.
I think that like 95 to 96% of the people out there have no business having credit cards.
Yeah,
at all.
I'd agree.
So it's very few people that can use them responsibly.
Oh, and trust me, I've never been this. I haven't always been this way. There have been times where I've maxed out credit. I've learned over the course of years. I've had a credit score of 470, I think was the lowest, and now my credit score is 844. So you know, it's taken a 10, 15 years of correcting the problems that I created when I was younger. Get a credit card, max it out. You know, I've been there for sure. But nowadays, I literally do not. I try my hardest not to spend anything on a credit card that I can't just immediately pay off.
I agree with you, Legazombie, and I try to preach here to help at least in a very small way when it comes to Magic. And you know, if you don't want Gaming Bob to get on your case about your Magic spending, well, then at least don't let me know that you're buying it on credit card. But I mean, I do what I can here. I try to, you know, speak wisdom. I think that people that have an interest in the hobby can, and there's a healthy way to be involved with Magic, whether you're like Pat, Matt, or myself, right? It's the degree to which. It's the greed factor that says, oh, I want to get every secret lair this year, and I want to get 7 copies of each. Well, if you're in a position like me, then you can do that. If you're in a position like other content creators we know, no, you maybe save up your pennies and your ducats. You don't go on credit card. You eat at home a few nights that month, and you got the $30 extra to buy 1 secret lair that year, right? It's a degree issue, right? And that comes down to greed because so many people want to buy extra copies. I want my copy of Iron Man secret lair, and I want to buy 6 more to sell, right? And I'm going to go on credit card to do it. By the time you end up paying all the fees at the end of it, you've done all these gyrations to make minuscule amounts of money with massive amounts of risk. And I think
no, you're totally right. Like people trying to nickel and dime in it, not realizing that most platforms you're going to incur a 13% seller's fee. Then you also got to deal with actually shipping the stuff. So depending on what it
and
is,
time and gas, wear and
so
tear on your vehicle,
20-25% on top of loss from your actual sale price. And people just don't factor that. And it's rare that you're going to see a 50% increase in something just to make 25% increase. And it's like, oh, you see a box go from 100 to 150 and you do an hour and a half worth of work for $25. It's definitely not fucking worth it to me.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I think you're being generous saying that if there was a 50% increase that you get 25%. I think we did the math the one day, and it's something like it has to.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point because it's 13%. It's not $13.
You had to double. The product had to double to get back 30%. So it had to go up by 100% to make back 30%.
And, you know, to your point, you know, a lot of influence were flipping cards, and it was a lot of that hustle cultures. So to top it off, those influencers were selling stuff to the people watching their channel. And that's how a lot of them were really getting the money.
But TCG, dude, I'm an influencer, and I never recommend doing that.
Hey, don't worry. We're going to start selling box breaks. Hey, we got your back, TCG, dude.
No, I'm not doing box breaks.
Yeah. I'll start making money off my viewers. It'll be great.
Dude, help me out. No. We talk about that all the time, by the way, guys. So we have discussed it, and we're still actively trying to understand and find ways that we could get stuff to you, our viewers, at a discount. Like, savings to you, like legit. And it's so difficult by the time you add in all of the expenses, all of the time, everything involved to even just break even, right? Let alone give you guys a discount.
Yeah, like I have a Patreon to Rudy, Alpha Investments, if you're not familiar with the name Rudy. And he sells almost any play box for $100 or whatever. For most play boxes, that's a pretty good mark off, and that's included. That's shipping straight to your door. So that's very good pricing considering, TCG player on most play boxes are like $120, $130 plus shipping plus tax. But like if I buy it for 100, I gotta pay shipping to your house, so that's going to cost me money. So then it would cost you money. And at the end of the day, like maybe we can save you $5 or $10, but it's like a lot of work for me to like ship. I don't want to become a distributor, basically.
Right. So, and then by the time you add in Matt's time to have to try to do it and the gas and running around, now Matt's really spending money to save you money. And that's not,
not really profitable.
Again, it's so difficult to make money. So if we were doing it to make money, we'd either have to rake you guys over the coals, which personally, it's not something any of the three of us are into doing here at this channel, not for our viewers. But it's super difficult. The margins are just, even when you get the good deals, they're just too small to make it truly worth it to anybody. And you're better off if you're just going to spend $5 more and have the product, more immediately at the time you want to. There's none of this back and forth and potential loss in the mail and all this crap. You're better off just buying it through whatever means you can yourself rather than buying it through us.
I don't want to show for Rudy, but for like whatever it is, $10 a month, it's a pretty damn good deal if you actually want to buy sealed product.
It's 15.
It's just if you consistently buy sealed product every month, you will pay for the membership and just the sealed cases alone.
But that's the thing you have to do is you have to buy.
Yeah, if you don't, you're
every month and then sell
or supporting, I guess, if you really
like it's like these damn home improvement shows on like HGTV where they're like, I was just commenting because my mom was watching the show earlier today and talking to my fiance, and we're doing okay. And it's like, this is just not reality. Okay, we're gonna make over your home and it's gonna be worth $170,000 more, and we have a budget of $140,000 to work with. Well, first off, that means that's $140,000 you're not investing. You're not gaining any compound interest. You're spending it on your home. And if you don't turn around and sell your home immediately after they improve it, now you don't even get to enjoy the home. Like it's the most absurd thing. It's not like you're making the 140 back. You're making a profit of $30,000 with all the disruption of a crew being in there wrecking your house and all that shit. And you have to turn around and buy a new home. It's absurd.
Keep doing it.
Like it's like you never get to live anywhere. The upset is just absolutely absurd. And it's kind of like that same mentality here that you never really get to enjoy the game. Now it's just a thing of buying and selling, and it could be thrift store clothes, magic cards, used cars. It doesn't matter. And you kind of, to me, diminishes the game aspect of it. It diminishes the hobby of it, and it just turns it into a revenue stream. And not a very profitable one at that. You'd have to do it on a scale of like Rudy, and there can't be but so many Rudys.
Yep.
Or that even becomes supremely unprofitable. So
something I don't think will be supremely unprofitable is going to be the upcoming Secret Lair crossover with SpongeBob SquarePants.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of hate out there for it.
I'll say, do you think it's actually going to sell? I don't think it's going to sell.
I'm buying it.
Sit there. I ain't buying none of it.
I'm assuming there's going to be a super drop, right? Because it looks like there's 3 secret layers here. Is that correct? With like 5 cards each?
I'm not sure how it's actually being.
They missed out on printing Hashaton as the hash slinging slash slinger, and that just pisses me off.
Well, that might be one of the secret layer secret cards.
Well, maybe. If it is, then maybe I'll proxy it once the art's released, or maybe I'll make my own.
Proxy it anyways.
Yeah, I'll just make my own. I'll just.
You know what you do? You know who you make that? I know the perfect card for that.
Hashaton.
Haha.
That is the perfect card. That's what I want to do.
I can't say any of these are at all interesting to me.
Oh, I want that counter spell so bad.
None of them are worth money. These are all like 5-cent cards, aren't they? Like none of what cards so far?
No, there's a couple of them. You got Toxroll, which I do not think is on flavor for Gary.
No.
He's a slug.
This is the only card I like. The Toski, Sandy Cheeks, Marshall Astronaut as Toski.
Makes sense, Squirrel. I get it. That's good flavor.
Like, it's cute.
Yeah,
but
Gary's
Gary
like
being
a cute
Toxroll?
slug, and Toxroll is not cute. I've had friends like they don't like Toxroll. I've actually removed Toxroll from my deck.
Slug.
I like the effect on Squidward here. I didn't know that dude existed. Well, I like that.
Razalax, Illithid Scholar.
I thought it said whenever a creature you control becomes bricked. I was like, what? Like, what does that mean? Return it to your hand. Return it to its owner's hand.
That's great in Commander Raids.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. I like it.
It pretty much prevents. Well, it prevents your creatures from ever dying, but it also prevents you from ever dealing damage to the things that are blocked.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which in that format, I'm usually fine with them not going toe to toe.
I think it's not a bad thing because you can also probably use it to your advantage of like kind of flickering your stuff. Like if you want it to bounce back to your hand, so you can replay it for value. It's interesting for sure. What is it? What is the actual name of the card? I can't.
Razalax Illithid Scholar.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not a high dollar value secret lair, which I also think is amazing. I think it's a great move, right?
This just like an absolutely useless card.
This one they missed.
Which is like the point of it. Like it's supposed to be Patrick Star. Like just a completely useless card. Yeah.
Yeah, what is it? Is it
it's
just
an old Legends legend?
Yeah.
Huh.
No, it's Barktooth Warbeard. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's literally just a vanilla 6/5.
Yeah,
yes.
It's just a piece of garbage.
Just a big, dumb, legendary creature. So
and
you
then
can
for some reason, SpongeBob is like this powerful ass.
Yo, DJ.
What up, DJ?
Joe the Unifier. Like Joe the Unifier is one of the most powerful magic cards in the game.
Oh, yeah. And that's absolutely the version I would play if I was playing a Joda deck. 100%.
I just don't care for this.
Yeah.
Oh, I absolutely love this card.
Hope you're doing well, DJ. I mean, I would honestly prefer if this wasn't part of Magic the Gathering, but I understand that that's way past now. Like that was a long time ago.
That horse left the barn when My Little Pony became a thing.
I'd rather play with My Little Pony.
I mean, it's all 5 colors. Cool. He's got the rainbow. I see what we're doing here. It's a classic SpongeBob like meme. Cool. It's Joda. It's powerful. Unfortunately, I'm going to see this all the time, and it's just going to make me go, ugh, I kind of hate this.
I already want to punch people that counter my spells. Now it's going to make it worse.
Hey, Benson.
And then you get your.
I want it for sure. I'm not really all that interested in the food card. I get it. It's a Krabby Patty, but it should have said, I think they missed here. It should have said Krabby Patty. And then underneath it said food token, like the rename, like the Joe did the Unifier.
Yeah, at no point does it actually say Krabby Patty.
I wonder if they can't do it because of like, well, I guess tokens can really be. You could use a Krabby Patty to represent a food token.
I wish you turn into a better spirit animal than me when you grow up.
What up, Benson? Hope you're doing well.
Yo.
Hope you're having a fun time at the wedding you're attending currently.
And I really wish they had a treasure token because they got plenty of treasure in SpongeBob. So I don't know. I love the lands, all of them.
Yeah.
I think this is my first time actually seeing these lands.
Yeah, I haven't looked at any of this, to be honest, just because I'm not interested in it at all.
I like this art style, but
it's a massive pass for me. I want nothing to do with any of it. But I mean, that was the joke all along. Like, nobody really wants this.
I don't know why that's the island, but okay.
Which is actually interesting because I actually do like SpongeBob. I don't. It's just I don't know. It's one of the ones that doesn't do anything for me art-wise.
Yeah, well, so
I think they could have come up with a better island.
I grew up with SpongeBob being around. It was definitely marketed at like my generation, and I didn't like it then. I still
grew up
don't
watching
really
SpongeBob with
enjoy
my little sister. Like it's good memories. It's just I don't know. It just does nothing for me.
To me, because I didn't grow up with this, and I didn't grow up with Fallout. They're neck and neck.
That's fair.
Yeah, I definitely had more of a yearning and a want for the Fallout stuff, and
Final Fantasy. I definitely want
glad
that. But I mainly, to be completely honest, I mainly only want it because of the hype. Like I don't, and I only want it to like buy and then hope to make money off of. Like the so far, only.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that zombie. Yeah, that's
the Dutchman's treasure.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
but isn't there like an island in the opening scene credits? Right?
There's an island. Yeah.
Like how did they not
it's in the art of the show, like the title of the show,
right? Isn't it? I thought like the opening trailer title scenes, it's got an island, and I'm like, wait, why didn't they use that for the island? I don't understand.
I mean, they could have had the pirate. There's a lot of things that they could have done that they didn't, and it's just like, why is inevitable betrayal here? This is
well, because in one of the episodes, Patrick was evil. I don't know. There was like everybody was evil. I don't remember 100%, but it makes sort of sense, I guess.
Yeah, they could have just had a shitty pirate card from another set and had the pirate from like the opening theme song, and just boom, have that here. A lot of different options, a lot of things they could have done, but this is what we're getting if you're getting it. This fucking counterspell.
I'm definitely getting it.
I heard somebody say this would give
like
great artwork.
The Raging Isle. I just don't like the card. Do you guys?
Spells your opponents.
Which card?
Mr. Krabs here. Penny Pincher.
Charge the Raging Isle. The big 017 crab.
I've never even heard of it. Wait, hold on. Is that the one that grows when
I think that's in? Is that in Zendikar Rising, maybe? Or is that in Ikoria?
I'm going with Zendikar.
Out of curiosity, why are you buying it?
Well, SpongeBob's a very popular IP. I like SpongeBob. I have SpongeBob golf balls. It was the show I watched with my daughter a lot.
Oh, you said you didn't much care for it, I thought.
Do what?
I thought you said you didn't much care for it, or you were talking about Fallout.
I didn't grow up with it. It doesn't have like...
So there's no
my daughter loves SpongeBob.
Nostalgia for you, though, because if you're talking about...
And don't forget, my collection's going to my daughter when I die. So, yeah. For a couple $100, throw this in my collection. Rather have it than not.
I'd recommend just buying it when it hits the market for $20, but you know.
I don't think it's going to hit the market for $20.
That's the thing. It's like I'm totally
even
with you,
even the Marvel ones have been cheaper than what they were on. Not all of them, but I see no value in it, so I just assume it's going to be worth nothing.
I think I'm going to stay away from this one. It doesn't really entice me, and like we've said a number of times, don't buy anything you wouldn't want to hold on to, something that you don't want to see on your shelf. And I have no attachment to these. I grew up watching the fucking X-Men, so like seeing some of those cards was awesome. Having them as like
great.
Yeah. Oh, geez, a lot of those cards are just awesome. All the Iron Man ones are like on point. I think they did great with that Secret Lair. So
I don't understand why the Iron Man one is so cheap. It's got some of the most powerful cards in the Secret Lair. I'm a little surprised.
Is it cheap? What's it at right now?
Yeah, it's the second cheapest one next to Black Panther.
Yeah, 68. Yeah, it's like $70. 67.97. Somebody went with Walmart prices.
Yeah, it's surprising to me. I would have figured it would have been one of the more expensive
Black Panther. No, to Matt's point, it is pretty much like MSRP. It's What's the
It's
lowest
about
price?
$10 over. I think the
38.71
cheapest version was what, 48, and those were 39.
$39.99
Yeah.
for the non-foil. So
Yeah.
this is just about market price. They're actually losing out because of seller's fee and shipping. Like these
Sure,
people,
and that's now we're going back down that same rabbit hole. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't understand why people do that.
Because they're idiots. Because they're dumb.
Well, I wouldn't say idiots. They've well, I guess they put themselves in position, so it makes me. I was gonna say they've leveraged probably, and they need to get out of it in order to not lose more money. But yeah,
and that's what I was warning. I foresee and understand that was during a time where the economy was doing very well when that released, and now we're heading into very rocky waters for probably an extended period of time.
Yeah,
and I don't foresee free government tendies coming this time during a recession.
I don't know. There were already talks about a Trump check coming out in the next.
No, you're talking about that Doge check. No, that's
that shit. Yeah, it's not real. Yeah. If they do that, the economy will be extra fucked because
Trump
there's not
didn't
actually
say that.
enough.
Elon Musk said it, and Trump said there's a possibility. But the number that they spit out doesn't even make any sense.
No.
Like they save 55 billion, but they want to send 5,000 to every American. Yeah. That would be like 100 times more money than what they saved to send that out to every American.
Well, they're the government; they can just do that.
No, they can't. Well, yeah, and you know what happens when they do that? They have to print more funny money, which 3 to anywhere between 18 months to 5 years, you start seeing inflation.
Well, yeah, we're already seeing it from the COVID checks. I definitely.
Oh, no. Honestly, I think the inflation we've been seeing is due all the way back to the Obama, because what they did, during the 2008.
No, the Obama era. I totally like. I get it. It's not like they
kept staving off the inflation by just printing more money.
Yeah,
and they hit a point where you can't just print more money and get out of the cycle, and that's where we're at. And you're in danger of going into what's called hyperinflation. If you just keep printing it, you can, but if you continue to do that, the world will absolutely abandon the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency, and then we're in definite hyperinflation territory.
It's one of the funniest things. You show up in Vietnam and instantly you're a fucking millionaire, a legitimate multi-millionaire, because one US is 25,000 Vietnamese dollars, because they've dealt with inflation in a very poor manner for just decades at a time. And it's the same thing for a lot of countries. That's why like a lot of their values are air quote very high, even though what you get for it isn't very much. Everything that rhymes with peso.
We are well past our 45. I guess we're going for the 8 o'clock timeline since we're not cracking a box tonight.
Scheduled for 8, yeah.
So can we give them an estimate for when we're planning on playing?
I think next week will be good. I'll have to double check with Nate, but I mean, my deck's already it's been built. It's ready to go. The only thing
I've already run through mine a few times, so
yeah, I've done some testing.
Yeah.
So we'll shoot for next week, folks.
Yeah.
Of doing our live member only stream. So even though we're 7:55 minutes into the stream, don't forget to like, subscribe, and become a member so you too can watch us play live next week with the decks that we built from the boxing deck Commander Raids build thingy.
Series.
Commander raiding a box.
We raided our boxes. And now we're going to play the decks that we raided with. So the commanders are, go ahead, Matt.
I got Metacant. I don't remember how
explain a little bit.
Metacant. So mainly artifacts. Should be really good. As long as I don't get my board wiped from artifacts constantly.
I am playing a Seek of the World tree, also known as the Prismatic Bridge. It's a 5-color good stuff deck. Pretty much just included everything I could so that I can make big mana and play all the cards I'm able to get my hands on.
I've actually wanted to make a Prismari Bridge deck like it's been very close that I've almost made one a lot.
I've thought about playing that side of it after my commander gets killed once, because it's going to be really easy to remove the prismatic bridge being an enchantment. I think I'll wait until I get some of my fast mana going, but I got a bit of a game plan. Bob, what's yours for your deck?
I am running Tatiova. So hopefully, just generally gaining life, drawing cards for playing lands. Unfortunately, I don't have like an engine to play additional lands each turn, but still, just the general value of playing a land, drawing a card, and gaining a life. That kind of speeds the deck up, and I have some. I have Kamal. I have 2 copies of Kamal in the deck, where I can try to, just essentially like pump like a crater hoof, whatever creatures I have out on the board, to try to close out the game. I also have what is it that not the thing in the ice, but Merit Lage.
Oh, yep, Dark Depths.
So if I can generate enough mana and get, a 2020 indestructible flyer out there smacking away, that's not too terrible.
Not too shabby.
And who wants to speak for Nate?
It's funny. I asked him what deck he's playing, and I already forgot. It's the Gruul commander that cares about cards being flipped upside down, right?
Yes. I don't remember its name, but you're right.
Me neither.
I didn't understand the sort of direction of his deck, but he's apparently going to flip cards over and get some extra value for that in Gruul. So we'll see how that works. I don't know how any of our decks are going to fare. We'll see. We'll find out next week. So stay tuned. And, if you want to watch it live next week, you're going to have to shell out a full 99 cents for the month to be a member to watch us play.
Yeah, it should be fun. We'll be playing on like a spell table situation.
Otherwise, you can catch it when we put it on the replay for the non-members. I don't know, probably a week after or so.
Yeah, so he's playing Yaros, Roar of the Old Gods. So it's a 4-mana 4/4. Other creatures you control have haste. Whenever one or more face-down creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you draw a card. And then whenever a face-down creature you control dies, returns to the battlefield Whenever a face-down creature you control dies, returns to the battlefield face down under its owner's control if it's a permanent card, then turn it face up. Oh, okay, I understand. I was like, then your creatures can just never die if they're always face down. I don't know how what is it? Cloaking a card is putting it face down?
No. I don't know. Maybe. That's a new mechanic I don't really know well. But I want to thank everybody that's in the audience. It's been a good audience this week. Thank you all very much for showing up and sharing your Saturday evening with us. We seriously do appreciate your time. Hopefully you got something out of the show tonight. And we look forward to seeing you next week at 7 p.m. And for those of you that are members, we'll see you in just a few minutes.
Heck yeah. You guys can't see it, but I'm definitely dancing back here. Not too hard, though. I don't want to screw up my eye.